These. And that's why we have 3 more. I shouldn't have tried to talk and do that at the same time.
Let's find another one.
Okay, let's find another one. Let's try again. I also have hair in my mouth, which is annoying, and I don't want to touch my mouth because I've got this glove on. Ugh.
Okay. If you go like that, you have a little something on your cheek.
Yeah.
On the other side.
On this side? Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Explain me, why did you put the trap in different location?
Mm-hmm. So one of the things we've been trying to understand is what species are using what parts of the old lake bed, of the old reservoir bed, and how that's changing as the area gets revegetated. So throughout the study, what we've done is we've put traps in different kinds of habitats. So this is the side wall of the old lake, and this is where all the fine sediments are. And here, with some of the overstory, we've been trying to understand if we see different animals than out on the more exposed lake bed that's still dominated by rocks and gravel. And we've done this kind of in association with some of the revegetation work. So we've set up transects that go from the forest edge all the way out closer to the river to see what animals and what animal community we're seeing in different parts of the revegetation process.
Yeah, the fact is that what is very interesting for us is to explain that everything is changing all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe just, have some explanation about that and what the species that you expected in the composition for the future.
Yeah. So even within the mouse species, we have 2 different mouse species out here, like I mentioned. One's the Keen's mouse and one is the deer mouse. And these have slightly different habitat associations. So the Keen's mouse is one that we expect to see more in the developed forest, whereas the deer mouse is one that we expect to see more broadly and in more open areas. And so we actually have found more deer mice out in these pioneering environments than we have found Keen's mouse. So that is one balance that we might expect to change over time. And then, as I described, as the overstory develops a little bit, we expect to see more other species, such as the voles and the shrews coming in. And even within those species groups, there can be some differences of shrew species and vole species in association with what habitats that they prefer. But these are the kinds of changes that we're expecting to see over decadal scales, because it takes a really long time for these forests to come back. And so we've seen a surprising and just remarkable change over the first 4 years since dams have come out, and that's been just really exciting to watch. But we're still at the very, very start of what this is going to look like over the next 100 years as these riparian forests grow up with the willows and the cottonwoods and the alder, and then as those forests mature and change and the conifers start to come in behind them. And over those time periods, we'll expect to see a whole different assemblage of animals using these areas. Okay.
Patience.
Okay.
Straight to here,
Yeah.
and then you can start to
See the tracks.
To see the tracks.
Okay.
Don't hesitate to
Okay.
kind of put your hand and take a
Okay. Oh, here's some fresh elk tracks here.
All right.
So what do you think? What kind of animal?
Oh, it's definitely an elk.
Yeah.
I think odds are it's a bull,
Mm-hmm.
just because the size of the track is so big and the steps are far apart, and it's just one animal.
Yep.
So bulls tend to travel more solitary.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Jerry, what's up?
So you can just picture a solitary bull wandering through this way. There might be some more tracks over there. I'm not positive that it's solitary. Let's go see if
Yeah.
there's something else over here. Yeah, there's
Now these are smaller. So these are looks like
yeah.
a different animal.
Yeah.
So
It's not just one elk, but it's still a very small group. And actually, look at this. There's deer here too.
Yep. Little deer tracks.
So this is a great scenario. I mean, there are deer and there are elk here both.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the concerns of the revegetation program has been what is going to be the impact of all of these herbivores on the effort to restore this as a productive floodplain hardwood community.
Yeah. So let's see if we can find any signs of recent browse.
Are you going to the trap? Maybe are you?
Oh, the camera trap?
Yeah. I don't know if it's
yeah.
a way of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess.
Or some tracks.
Yep.
Or some.
It's over there.
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
Tu vois, regarde. Oui, juste par contre, tu vois la table. Rebecca, je te pose des questions en français, mais tu réponds en anglais comme si j'étais une anglophone.
Okay.
So, en tant que biologiste, qu'est-ce que tu ressens, toi, d'avoir vu autant de changements en si peu de temps? Parce que ça fait que quelques années que les barrages sont partis. Est-ce que, voilà, quelles sont tes impressions sur tous ces changements auxquels tu as pu assister?
Mais
Oui, il faut basculer de langue. Donc,
oui.
I can ask
Oui.
you in English.
Mais my feelings.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
How do you feel as a biologist about having seen so many changes and so many such a speed about the return of the mammals and the vegetation?
Well, as a biologist, it's just been exciting and really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be part of a project like this. When I started, I had no idea what to expect, and to have seen what I've seen in the past 3 years has been really wonderful. I grew up in this area, and so I've known this area as a dammed lake my whole life. And it's even something that we study at the university here, was the decision to remove this dam. So being out here now and being a part of the project has just been something I could have never dreamed of 10 years ago.
And and when you started to work here, could you have thought that nature can be so resilient, so capable, so able to recover and to maybe erase the impact of humans?
So the experience of watching this recovery happen, as an ecologist, it's not too surprising. We see after forest fires and floods and all kinds of disturbances how life can come back. And this is just a new example of it. We've never seen a dam removal at this stage. So to a certain extent, it's kind of what we'd expect. That nature is resilient, nature is strong. But it will take decades, if not beyond my lifetime, to see the changes go back to more of a natural system. Essentially, this is a process. We had a system impounded for 80 years, and so it's not something that can be erased even in one lifetime. So it is a process that I expect will continue to unfold.
Je regarde pas la caméra.
Non?
Ah, ok.
Je sais pas, je regarde un petit peu. J'ai besoin de mieux regarder. Plus, oui.
And what about the impact of human in helping nature recover? What do you think about this help? And it was an obligation to do that, to force or to speed to involve the not to involve but
To accelerate the
yeah.
process.
Yes, to accelerate the process. And what happens if you will decide to do nothing, for example?
Yeah. So humans, even these landscapes that we think of as the wildest landscapes in the world, these national parks, these wilderness areas, everything has been touched by humans. Everything's been touched by humans. And so it's not surprising, and I think expected, that as we work to recover these ecosystems, even we had a role in their degradation, and we are going to have a role in their recovery. And because there are other impacts out here, there's invasive species, there's climate change,